Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you've joined me today. In today's video, we'll be discussing an emotional and heartbreaking story about two people whose lives have been forever changed. It's the story of Yağmur and Barış, two individuals who once seemed inseparable, bound by love and a shared dream, but who are now navigating a sea of grief and regret. Let's get into the details, but before we dive deep, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and if you'd like to support me even more, click on the join button below. Now, let's get started. What should have been the happiest moment of their lives quickly spiraled into a tragic nightmare. Yağmur, a beloved actress known for her radiant smile and magnetic charm, found herself in a hospital emergency room late one Sunday evening. She had been in labor for hours, and by her side, as always, was Dr. Barış, her partner, her confidant, and the man she loved with all her heart. At that moment, Dr. Barış was her only hope. Yağmur's pregnancy had progressed without issue up until the final weeks, when complications began to arise. The medical team had done everything they could to prepare for any risks, but no one could have predicted how rapidly things would escalate. During the delivery, something unimaginable occurred. Yağmur's health began to rapidly deteriorate, and her condition took a sudden and dangerous turn. In those harrowing moments, Barış had to face an agonizing decision, one that would alter the course of both of their lives forever. The doctors and nurses, led by Barış, were forced to confront the unthinkable. Only one life could be saved. The situation was dire, and the decision had to be made quickly. Barış, a man known for his cool-headed professionalism and surgical expertise, found himself breaking down in the face of this impossible choice. He had to choose between the woman he loved and the child they had both dreamed of raising together. Witnesses in the room described the silence that followed. It wasn't just the calm of a medical crisis, it was the sound of a heart breaking. Barış, who had been a pillar of strength through so many life or death situations, collapsed in tears, a moment of vulnerability none of those present had ever seen before. The decision was made. Yağmur's life was saved, but the baby did not survive. The hospital released a brief, emotionless statement about the incident, but the pain was evident in Barış's face, in the air of the sterile hospital halls. Yağmur woke up hours later, confused, disoriented, still unaware of the heartbreaking decision that had been made in the room where she had almost lost her life. When she finally asked, "What about the baby?" Barış's response was simple yet devastating. "I chose to save you. I couldn't live in a world where you weren't." The press wasted no time sensationalizing the tragedy. Social media exploded with opinions, dividing public sentiment. Some questioned Barış's decision, wondering if it was a selfish act driven by love. Others were moved by his devotion and the impossible position he had been placed in. Was it truly selfishness? Or was it an act of love so deep that it was impossible to comprehend? In the wake of the tragedy, Barış and Yağmur were forever changed. Their once unbreakable bond was now laced with pain, guilt, and a love that could no longer be expressed in the same way. Neither of them could continue their lives as they had before. They both sought refuge in silence, away from the prying eyes of the media, but those who knew them best insisted that the emotional scars ran deep. The loss of the baby cast a permanent shadow over their relationship. As the days went by, the hospital locked its doors to the press. No one entered, no one left. But within the walls, it wasn't just grief that lingered. There was a tension in the air, a feeling that love could no longer be the defining force between Yağmur and Barış. Now, their love story was entwined with loss, regret, and a profound, unspoken pain. Yağmur spent several days recovering in the hospital, surrounded by a dedicated medical team trying to care for her physically and emotionally. But no one could truly prepare her for the truth that lay ahead. The truth that, after surviving the birth, she would wake up to find that the child she had carried for months was no longer with her and that the man she loved had made that choice. In their quiet moments together, Barış, typically a man of few words, could only speak the truth in the most agonizing of ways. "I chose to save you because I don't know how to live without you. Because we can try again. Because without you, not even our child would have had a future, But those words weren't enough for Yağmur. Not yet. For Yağmur, the decision was more than just about love, it was about the life she had dreamed of. The nursery was ready, the crib had been set up, the name had been chosen, and the future had seemed bright. But now, there was only silence. The dreams of a child's laughter were replaced by the emptiness of a house that was now too quiet. For weeks, Yağmur and Bar retreated from the world. Bar didn't return to work at the hospital. He cancelled all medical appointments and withdrew from family and colleagues alike. His sole focus was on Yağmur. He cooked for her, he read to her, and he tried to talk about the future. But each time Bar spoke of tomorrow, Yağmur's eyes grew distant, as if she no longer cared about a future without the child they had lost. Meanwhile, the press continued to apply pressure, leaking photos, statements from friends, and different versions of the story. Some defended Bar's decision, claiming that it was a medical one, there had been no chance to save both lives. Others, however, questioned his emotional judgment. Could love cloud his decision-making? Could he have acted differently? Yağmur, too, wrestled with these doubts. One night, as Bar slept in the chair beside her bed, she wrote a letter. It was a letter of goodbye. She left it on the nightstand before leaving the hospital without a word, without the presence of cameras or reporters. The letter read, "Thank you for choosing me. But I needed to choose too. I needed to be a mother, not just a survivor. Today, I don't know if I can forgive you, but I know that I must find myself far from you to understand if I can ever love you again. If fate brings us together again, maybe we can start over. But this time, no impossible decisions between us." And with that, Yağmur vanished from the public eye. Some believe she traveled to southern Turkey. Others think she's in Italy, staying with her sister. Bar, on the other hand, remains at home alone, unable to move on. The nursery is untouched. The crib still stands, the clothes folded neatly, and on the shelf, a handwritten note that reads, "Welcome, my love. We already dreamed of you." Bar, a man once renowned for his brilliant mind and surgical precision, became a shadow in his own home. He did not return to work. He didn't answer calls, and he refused interviews. He fell into a deep silence, broken only by the sound of his footsteps at night, wandering the hallways, standing in front of the baby's room, but unable to enter. Guilt, his constant companion, weighed heavily on him. He had saved Yağmur, the woman he loved, but in doing so, he had lost the child they had both dreamed of raising together. Every day, he reread the letter Yağmur had left. He searched for some hidden message, some sign of forgiveness, some hint that she would return. But the letter only spoke of pain and distance. As for Yağmur, she found herself alone in a house overlooking the Aegean Sea, surrounded by olive trees and the sound of seagulls. There, she tried to put the pieces of her broken heart back together. She spent hours gazing at the horizon, writing in a notebook, crying when the grief became too much. The body can heal quickly, but the soul takes time, and hers was shattered. During the early days of her solitude, she struggled to sleep. When she closed her eyes, she could still hear the cries of a baby she had never held. Sometimes she dreamt of Bar, of his voice, and of the moment he told her, "I chose you." And then the unanswerable questions arose. Was it right? Would she have made the same choice? Could love survive a decision like that? Despite the pain, Yağmur never hated Bar. She couldn't, because true love doesn't vanish in the face of tragedy, it transforms. In anger, in silence, in nostalgia, but it lingers, quietly burning. One day, as she walked along the shore, she saw a young couple with a child. She stopped, breathless, and sat on the sand. She wrote in her notebook, "Today, I saw the life we never had, and for the first time, I didn't cry. I closed my eyes and imagined him running toward me. I want to live, even though it hurts. And maybe one day, I can look at Bar again without breaking down inside." Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found this story as moving as I did. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.